to the Business of Soul Searching. My name is Erin, and I invite you to join me as I travel the world challenging risk takers who have soul searched and came out on the other side to tell us their incredible stories. Are you ready for this? All right, I want to welcome everyone to Season 2 to the Business of Soul Searching podcast. And so I'm here with Cyndii. Cyndii is in Rhode Island, so I am in her group on Facebook. I forget who invited me, but someone invited me, and so I've been just observing the culture of the group, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I love that it's like a natural hair care group. Kinks and Things is the name of it. So you have over 3,000 members.
Yes.
And I like that it's not, like, it's very interactive. I see it as kind of a sisterhood. And so people support each other when people do kind of the big chop. Like, I'm learning all of these different terms and, you know, protective styles. And people are kind of selling products, like, minimally in there. And, like, advertising. And just, I feel like people post so many different types of, like, things that have to do with natural hair care. And like, I think the Shea Moisture situation. Yeah. So that was so funny. But I was just like loving it, and I love that we have a place to go and to talk about that, because I feel like if you don't necessarily have natural hair, or you know, you're kind of just getting into it, you don't really know how that can affect you. The Shea Moisture thing was really controversial.
Yeah.
Like, even within the group, actually, I think there was like
there were people
a little bit of a divide.
Back and forth, like, oh, I don't think we should cancel them all the way.
Exactly.
What the situation is, but then there were other people that were like, no, like, we feel if we're offended, we're done.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that was the overall consensus, not even just in the group, just like in general.
Yep.
My thoughts on it were...
Because you know why I want to ask you, because some of my following aren't people of color, so they really do not understand the Shea Moisture, like why that could even be offensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to just give your take.
I thought it was because if you actually paid attention to the actual ad, it's actually, there is black people on the ad. It was just the first section that they released did not have any women of color, and I was honestly, I feel like the brand started with us.
Yeah.
We're the ones who got you to the place
where you are.
Where you are. So if you are going to release a series of different commercials, start with us.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, go continue. Because I do know white women who do purchase Shea Moisture, which is fine. You know, it is an all-natural product. It is good for your hair, and that's perfectly fine. But, like, start with us, just like who didn't start with Shea Moisture? Anybody who asks me, like, oh, I just picked chopped, what should I do? I will direct you straight to Shea Moisture. Simply because they have so many different things, and they have for all different types of hair, and so, like, it's just easier to start there. And so we started with you. You should have started with us as well. And that's how I saw it. I haven't used Shea Moisture in years. I think once you get deeper in your natural hair journey, you kind of, like, find new things. But I still think that people should start there. I still think it's a great product. I don't think that they were intentionally trying to, like, push us aside, but I think they're trying to expand their brand, which is normal, but it's like, remember where you began. Like, remember where you came from, kind of, like.
Well, look at it. So if it was, like, an artist, right, and their fans are who got them to that next level where people, you know, listening, because it's all about downloads and all of that, and so it's like purchasing music, and then they only highlight people that aren't their fans. They're like, oh, thank you, or this is, and it's not their fans. It's like, okay, like, what, we got you, like, financially to where you could advertise, like, we were checking for you before other people.
Exactly.
So I just thought it was, because, you know, Black Twitter, and like, people be
it was so funny. I was watching the videos on it.
People were like, nah, son. So, but I think that all goes back to marketing, and we have seen, I think, this year, a couple flops. The Pepsi, like, you know, like, there's been so many things, and you know, big brands that are just making these faux pas, I guess, like these, like, and it's just like. I
also think there's, like, this awakening within, like, the Black community. Usually, you know, this has happened for years. A lot of people have been, you know, doing the same things for years. Especially Pepsi, they're notorious for doing things like that. But because people are so much more aware of it now, we're actually going to speak out. Whereas people used to be like, oh, you know, like whatever.
Hurts my feelings, but...
Yeah, like whatever. And, you know, social media is, we're in the social media era.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
like, people are able to voice their opinions way more easily. And so you have a slew of different opinions coming at you at once. And then it gets forcing these companies to, like, stop doing what they're doing because... we're not here for it anymore.
And you kind of should, like, you should respect consumers. You can't be perfect, but, like, don't go all the way left. Like, that's a big jump. Yeah. Like, if you're going to take a big jump, I think it might be good to do some research and, like, ask some people outside of the people that are in the team that are saying yes because they're getting paid by Pepsi or, you know what I'm saying? They're, of course, they're going to say yes to you. So I think also what I wanted to get into was kind of the structure and birth of the group Kinks and Things, because people, once they have a brand or just in general, if they want to start a group, it's like just maintaining the focus. And so how did Kinks and Things, how was its birth, and how do you keep it running?
Oh man, Kinks and Things is interesting because what happened was I have my hair natural, and so, like, I rarely ever do anything else to it, and so...
It looks beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Always, yeah, so you clearly know what you're doing, like, I can tell. Okay.
And so I get a ton of questions, ton of DMs from, like, women really not knowing, you know, what to do, where to start, and I remember how it felt, like, I've been natural for 6 years, and so I remember how it felt starting being natural and, like, not really knowing where to go, and at that time, there wasn't as much natural hair resources as we have now, and so it was interesting. I was home one day because it was summer vacation, and I was just like, I'm really bored right now, and I was talking to my sister on the phone, who is a natural hair stylist, and she's just like, you know, I wish there was, like, a platform for this, especially in Rhode Island, since there's such a lack in Rhode Island. I mean, we don't even get products. It's like really bad. And so I was like, you know, I don't know either. And so I was like brainstorming, and I have a friend who lives in Boston, and she's a makeup artist, and she started at the time she started her makeup group called Blush Queen, and she was just like, oh, you know, it's just a group where, like, we share resources. And I was like, oh, I never really heard of that. And then I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. So I just did it. Like, I took my computer out, and I was like, I'm gonna start this Facebook group. I started the Facebook group. I posted it. One day we had 700 women.
Because where are they gonna go?
Yeah, we had 700 people on the page, and I was like, whoa. I was like, I knew there was a lack, but I didn't really understand the impact that it would have, and so I was like, great, like, let's keep this going. So at first, you know, we got a team together. So it's myself, my sister, my best friend Samantha, and my little brother's girlfriend, but I just call her my sister-in-law. And we were just like, hey, I think we should take this to the next level. And so we're right now, it's kind of on a pause just because of everything that's going on in my life.
You have a lot,
But you know, we're gonna reconvene like once I get out of school, and like we have a ton of event ideas, a ton of things to bring the natural hair community in Rhode Island like together, and like to make us like make other people aware of us, because, you know, Rhode Island's predominantly white. And so if I'm a black natural hair company in Jacksonville, Florida, I'm not going to send my products to Rhode Island. Who even lives there? Like,
people are like, where is Rhode Island? It takes people so long.
So I wouldn't do it, and I don't blame them for that, but I really do want them to know that, like, we have a natural hair community here. The women are so ready and willing to, like, you know, buy anything and everything that they need for their hair. And on top of that, I'm very big on not doing the most. So I really want to share that, like, natural hair seems way more complicated than it actually is. And I really, that's like one of my things. It's like, I call myself the lazy natural, but it's not really lazy. It's just like, I'm not going to spend 4 or 5 hours washing my hair because you don't need to. It's actually super unnecessary. And so I really want to share that with women. Like, natural hair actually isn't that complicated. You guys are seeking all this information, but it's really simple. You know, it's actually super simple, and I wanted a place to share that. And so that's where Kinks and Things came from. That's the main idea behind it. It's called Kinks and Things because it's mainly natural hair. And so, you know, we really want to take care of our kinks, but with natural hair comes a lot of different things. Wellness, health, because in order for your hair to be at its maximum healthy, long, strong place, you need to be healthy. There's a lifestyle that you necessarily need to live, but there's certain things that you need to understand and know about your health and your body. And so, that's why it's called Kinks and Things, because it's not only about hair, it's also about your wellness, your happiness, your
relationships,
your relationships.
Like dating or long term, and even just relating to like coworkers, like mommies, women who, my sister has 3 kids, like how do you maintain your natural hair edges and
exactly 3 kids running around, or like postpartum shedding, like things like that are super important. And so I really wanted to bring light to those situations that you have to take care of your hair, and it's way more than just putting some products in your hair.
And body. And so what I'm hearing you say is like your whole lifestyle really goes into it, because what you eat and everything affects kind of how your hair is growing. Interesting. I never thought of it like that. As sad as that is to say, I don't know if anyone else that's going to be listening to this podcast is like, me too, that's what I... But, okay, so that was kind of the construction of Kinks and Things. And so there's a few moderators, so those are the people that you listed to try to, you know, kind of keep things going. So how do you kind of keep interest in the group? Like, how do you keep people so stimulated?
I think it's easy with natural hair. I think there's a ton of women. It's a movement now. There's a ton of women and men who are realizing, like, I do want this. I do want to stop relaxing my hair. I do want to keep this lifestyle going. And so it's kind of easy to get that, to pull their interest. And I think just asking random questions all the time, and like posting hair inspirations. And a lot of people ask questions, and I love that they just feel so free to ask, like, hey, my hair is shedding, like, is there any way, or what has anybody else done? And it kind of runs itself. There's times where I don't even post for like a week, and like I'm like, oh yeah, like this is going well.
but that's what you want your group to turn into. Like, you're really just the moderator, keeping things like safe and respectable. But that's what I've noticed in that group. People are literally, sometimes people will at you and say, can like to jump in and, professional opinion, I guess, so to speak. But for the most part, I mean, it's a fully functioning, running, independent group.
Yeah, like it runs itself. And, it kind of gives me the space to step back and do other things. Like, if the group is running itself, then I can work on the full blog website, which is coming out soon. And then, like,
for that.
Thinking about, like, events that we can do, and think, like, what do people want to see? Where should we go with this?
Like a focus group.
I think the biggest thing that we're trying to do is bring like a natural hair convention here eventually, and it may not be a year, it may not be 2 years, but like I think it would be so cool to have that in Rhode Island, because I mean, I've seen it in New York. It's huge in New York. It's huge in like Dallas. It's huge in Atlanta, but like I feel like New England doesn't really have that much. Even Boston or Connecticut, like they have like little ones that I've been to.
Yeah, I've been to. Yeah,
but like it's not as big as the ones that are in the other states. And I would love for us to all come together, because there is women who are from Connecticut and Boston who are also in the group. It was interesting. We had like a 360 black hair mixer, and women came down from Connecticut and Boston.
You're like,
and
what was your reaction? Because that's humbling. Like, that's an amazing experience. How do you feel?
It felt amazing. I was so shocked, honestly, because I get nervous about those things. So I'm like, I feel like
gonna show up,
and like it's gonna be a flop, and like at the time we wanted it to be a free event, and so like we put our own money into it. And so I was just like, we spent all this money and it's probably not going to happen. I was so doubting myself. And then when we got the show out that we got, and I was just like, oh my gosh, and people come up to me like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to meet you. Hey, I'm from Connecticut. I'm from Boston. And it was a great networking thing for me as well, because it was like a lot of women that came down from those states are like trying to do kind of like the similar thing in their states. And they're like, yeah, we should like hook up and like do this. And I'm like, this was super humbling. Like, thank you guys. I will never doubt myself again. So it was a great atmosphere. Everybody was so responsive. My sister did a live demo of like a super quick style to do. It was so good. It was really good. I loved it. We had a great time.
That's awesome. I was definitely looking up for that. I forget what I was doing, but I did want to, because I knew I wanted to meet you. Like, I feel like I get into people's groups and I observe. I don't usually post a lot. but I like the people that were in the group, first of all. So I'm like, oh, okay, there's some people that I've met, and now I know them in real life as well. So I network when I say, oh, you're from that group, right? Like, I literally, and I was just like, I have to meet this woman. Like, I need to know how she has such an amazing group. And so I'm excited that you're going to be coming on a blog, you're going to have your convention. Let me know, because I definitely would love to be part of that. I think definitely, like you were saying, natural hair care is turning into a movement. So what do you think is empowering about having natural hair?
I think that, so Black women in general, like, our hair is our crown. Like, no matter if it's relaxed, if we have dreads, if it's natural, whatever it is, it's our crown. It's something that we love. And so I think it's a beautiful thing. I think that it's beautiful that, I try not to say a lot of things about, like, oh, if you relax your hair, you're into Eurocentric standards. I don't think that's what it is. I think that everybody has their own preferences, and, like, if you want to relax your hair, by all means, go ahead and do that. Like, if whatever you want to do with your hair, but I think it's empowering because, like, it's ours. It's something that we have. We have all these companies that are trying to cater to us because they understand that, like, Black consumers buy things.
We do. I don't know. It took people so long to figure that out.
Like, what? So a lot of people are now starting to cater to us, where we had to struggle to find, like, something remotely that would make my hair do anything, and so I think it's a beautiful thing. There's this quote that says, like, you don't go natural, you return natural. And so,
I saw that. You just got chills, guys, when she said that.
Getting back to our roots and who we are, and, like, I think being natural also sparks kind of an interest in some way. For me, it did. I don't know about if that's true for everybody, but for me, it really helped me to dig deep into who I was and, like, my heritage, and, like, oh, like, where did my hair come from? Like, how did I get this hair on my head? There was one time I was in Jamaica, and because I'm darker skinned, people automatically assume I'm mixed because I have a looser hair texture. Okay. And I'm like, and I don't, for me to understand that, I just, like, I don't know where it came from. Like, I don't know. And so I was in Jamaica, and this guy's like, are you a coolie? And I'm like, no. A coolie is somebody who's, like, native side, like, native, like, Indian, Aboriginal.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
People that were on the Jamaican island. And I'm like, no. And they're like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, I'm not even Jamaican. And so
you're like, I know I'm not, because I'm not from here yet.
He's like, I can tell because of your hair. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, that's not necessarily true. Like, I feel like people automatically assume darker skinned people should have, like, kinkier hair, but, like, that's not necessarily true. We all have different types of hair. Who knows? All my sisters have, like, really kinky hair, and I don't. And, like, my dad's side of the family has, like, more hair like mine, and, like, my mom's side has the kinkier hair texture, and my mom is actually the lighter skin one. So it's, like, really interesting. It's interesting to, like, what people say about your hair. I think people. I think it helps you to, like, dig deep into who you are and, like, what are the roots of my hair, and, like, how did this come about? Where did I get it from? And so, like, it helped me to understand that, like, everybody's hair is different, and nobody you cannot look at somebody and say, like, oh, you're going to have that hair texture. It's impossible. You never know what's going to come out of their head.
True.
And so, like, it really helps you dig deep, and I think that being natural just helps you to, like, embrace yourself more, and, like, this is something that grew out of my head. It's my crown. It's without chemicals, without anything. This is something I have, and it's special to me. It's like a baby. It's like, you raise your little baby.
And you're saying, like, it's natural and it's you, so it's almost like a, like, self-reflective tool. Like, you start to think, like, and let me tell you, like, whenever I post anything about natural online, people from all over that I didn't even know were following me, I'm like, okay, like, it really is turning into a movement, which I'm excited for. But it does. What I tell people, because I get a lot of questions about my dreadlocks, like so many questions, thank you. So many questions over the past 9 years I've had them, and what I do tell people is your hair, sometimes, something that I didn't know was going to happen, but my hair somewhat, like, shapes my relationships, or, like, the types of people that I interact with. Like, not even, like, just dating, but the people that gravitate towards me, like, in just those interactions. So I think, when you change your hair, and I'm not like a hater of people that do relaxed or weave, or I used to do relaxed before I did this, but I'm staying with dreads. I love them. I love my locks.
Yeah. Usually when whoever has dreadlocks,
they have it for a long time.
They're beautiful.
A long time. Like people cut them and then grow them again and like continue. So, but yeah, I completely agree. So. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back, and we'll chat a little bit more. Let me see. All right. So we're back, and I was talking earlier with Cyndii about her group, Kinks and Things. So that is kind of just like a side thing for her. She also is a teacher, so she's going to talk a little bit about the charter school where she works. So if you want to just tell us a little bit about it.
So I work for Achievement First Charter Schools. We have schools out in New York, Connecticut, and now Rhode Island. We have 2 schools in Rhode Island, and we're expanding to middle school next year. So with charter schools, they add a grade each year. And so our school right now is the newest one, and we're only K2. So next year we will add in 3rd grade, but the other school is now adding middle school, which is super cool and super good for them. I absolutely love my job. I love going to work every day. Yes, I will say it's stressful. We have really long days. They have extended school year and school day. Yeah.
You're saying 7 to 4. Right?
Yeah, we're there from 7 to 4. And then when the kids leave, we also have professional development and stuff. So sometimes we're there till 5:30. And it sounds as daunting as it sounds. I will do it over and over and over again. Wow. At my job, we have a lot of things like diversity and inclusiveness sessions. We talk about the opportunity gap in our school, so the opportunity gap is kids who live in more affluent cities get these amazing programs, amazing school curriculums, and then you have kids who live in urban areas who don't even get new textbooks. And so what we're trying to do is bridge that opportunity gap where we give you an affluent education in an urban neighborhood so that all kids can have the same opportunities, not just white kids, not just kids who live in affluent cities, but kids who live in the projects can have the same opportunities as someone that lives in Barrington, Rhode Island, which is one of the highest ranked schools in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
And so it's really interesting the progress that we make. Our school actually beat out Barrington in testing scores for 3rd grade last year, which was so cool because you have a bunch of Black and Hispanic kids just doing the thing, and it's amazing to work there. And on top of that, as teachers, we're just so on the same page. We have a mission and we're trying to get there. My boss, our principal, calls us social justice warriors because he knows this is a fight and this is what we're fighting for. And so we have in our school, if you walk in, there's quotes everywhere. We have 2 huge pictures of Obama and Michelle in our hallway.
I just want to go to see what that's like.
Anybody wants to visit, please come. We have a very open door policy where anybody can come and see what we do. We have quotes all over the school. Each classroom is named after a college because we really stress on kids reaching for that college education. You can get there. You can get those scholarships. You can get whatever you need. And it's an amazing experience. I don't know. It's just weird because it actually, working there has actually opened me up so much, which is, I think for me, which is what Kinks and Things came out of. I had it in me, but there's certain things that you go through that push you forward. And my job, they push you. I'm not a very... I'm extroverted. I talk and things like that, but I'm not someone that makes risks that much. That's not really my thing. Well, it wasn't my thing before. Yeah. And when I started working there, they push you. They're what do you think about this? It's never oh, here's what you do. It's always what do you think about this? Or what are your ideas about this? And it kind of forces you to think. Think on different, think by yourself, think on larger terms, think in future terms, and so with that trickled down into my life and how I think about certain things the way I talk about certain things. It's just a really great place to work. So if anybody has, a teaching degree,
yeah, true.
Please come through.
And I think it's also just feeling more supported at work, like especially having natural hair. And for my listeners, some people are maybe familiar with this, but there's been a lot of things in the news in regards to children trying to just wear their natural hair and like getting in trouble, and and I think that's like another issue, or at least for me, I'll speak personally. I would never speak for every natural hair person, but when you're getting up for work, it's like, okay, like, how's my hair? Like, you know what I mean? Because to you're like, I feel like I look good. Or if I want to wear, for example, like a head wrap or something, like women look beautiful in head wraps. Yeah. But when you go to work, you know what I'm saying? When you work for someone else, when you work for a company, there's a dress code, and you kind of have to, like, find some middle ground. Like, how do I express myself but still keep my job?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you are definitely supported there.
Yeah, I mean, I wear head wraps to work all the time. I wear my hair out. I can dye my hair pink, and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, it's beautiful, Cynthia."
They'd be like, "Well, you're doing what you need to," because you go to work and you do what you need to do. It's not like what I look like affects my progress.
Yeah, my bosses also really understand that representation matters. They know that they're serving, Black and Hispanic kids who do have curly hair, who do look like me, or look like, there are other teachers of color, and like they encourage it. They encourage us to, really inspire them and talk to them and like relate to them and on that level. And it's I could, if I wanted to, I could start a natural hair group at my school, and it would be super supported by everyone on our team. And it's like, it's an amazing thing to be able to have that support, especially since the downside is, it's not a downside because I love them to death. We do have mostly white teachers at our school, but it's like, it doesn't even bother me because it's like they support you in every single way. Yeah. And it's like, it's a beautiful thing. It's just beautiful to see that much support from people who never met you before. Yeah.
Or know what your struggle is like. So, yeah, I like that. It's almost like I have to go because I almost don't believe it. Like, that's how amazing this sounds.
Anybody who visits our school leaves like on a, like, oh my goodness, please can I send my kids there? Yeah. Like, and we had a fight, like a struggle. They were trying to shut us down, Wow. So that we don't expand. Why? Because the thing about charter schools is, especially a public charter school, we get public money, but we are not a public school, and so like kids who leave the public schools to come to our school, the public schools do lose the money on that child's head. And so, but to me, the way I see it is like, if you have 10 kids, right? You have 10 kids. If 3 of them go to charter schools, you still have the amount of money to cater to your 7 kids. You're not really. To me, it's like you're not really losing that extra money. You're losing the child, and you might be losing the extra money, but like, you still have enough to cater to the kids that you have, and it's just like,
that's a good point.
So like, why are you so mad, right? But like, they oh my goodness, they would bash us. They would say our school is so bad, and like, why is Achievement First this and that? And it's like, no, like, come visit. And anytime somebody says Achievement First is bad, I'm like, come visit. Like, please come see our kids, come talk to them. Our kids they're crying because they don't want to go on summer vacation. Wow. They're like, we want to stay in school forever. Like, they don't want to go home. Like, I'm like, you got to get out of here. Because
I have to get out of here, yeah.
But it's great. They love school. They love to read. They feel supported, even when a child is having a difficult time. And we're super mindful about what we say about our kids. We don't have bad kids. We have kids who have difficult moments, just like anybody else has difficult moments. So we don't believe in having bad kids or like putting kids in a bad class. Like, that's not a thing at our school. And so, when kids are having difficult moments, they're able to express themselves, and we give them a space to just talk and say, like, this is what's wrong with me, like, and we'll say, like, how can we support you in that? And, you know, just like our bosses push us to, like, come to a conclusion, like, we push our kids, like, hey, what do you think would have been a better solution to that problem? Like, you know, and so I love the way we talk to them, the way we, you know, address situations that come up. It's just really nice to work in an environment like that where you just love coming to work every single day.
That's amazing, because that's, like, not a lot of people.
Yeah,
like, a lot of people don't get. But I think kind of what I'm hearing is that that particular school is grooming you all as leaders to then groom
our children to be
as leaders, and that's amazing. They feel supported. I definitely have to come by, because I feel like if, you know, or even do, you know, like maybe a special on that school, because I think it's important. Do you think, so trajectory-wise, do you feel that public schools may be intimidated by charter schools?
Yeah, like, especially the public schools, and particularly Providence. I went to Providence public schools. They know they're low performing. They know that their children are not performing at a high level at all. And it is intimidating to have people come, especially since Achievement First is from another state, you know, to have people come in from another state and say, like, hey, we're going to take this over. But sometimes it's necessary. You know, sometimes they're not changing in any time soon. And so, like, these kids are going to continue to fail until somebody steps in. And so that's what we decided to do. And, like, they don't like it. You know, they're like, why? Especially Rhode Island is really hard. They don't like change. Like, we have laws in Rhode Island that are, like, centuries old that need to go, you know, but, you know, Rhode Islanders are very stubborn in that way. And so, like, when somebody comes in from another state who has a different mindset, super progressive, they're just like, no, like, we don't like that. We're going to shut it down. And, you know, we haven't been shut down, thankfully, because we have an open door policy. The governor comes to our school, and the mayor and the lieutenant general, and, like, they're obsessed with it, and they, like,
how could you not be?
Yeah, and so they're just like, there was one time specifically, the public schools were, like, holding a parent rally to, like, rally against us. And they were all sending letters to the mayor about why he should, like, not approve us for expansion and things like that. And so we got wind of it, and so the day before, all our kids wrote letters of, like, how much they love being at school, and how much they love their communities, and parents wrote it, and so we sent it to them the day before. And so he got those letters first, and then I don't know if other people sent the letters, but, like, it was bad. Like, they were really trying to shut us down.
I think what scares me, because, so for me, working in the mental health field, we come at that, sometimes we're on the same side, and we're seeing that people aren't caring about the kids. People are so stuck with, like, the business aspect and the politics aspect that the kids get lost. And it's like, what's best for them? Exactly. And then they get to fast forward 10 years, you're like, oh, well, you know, you should have went to school, or you should have, but it's like, you didn't, like, give them a firm foundation. Exactly. How can you expect people to succeed if they're not given the right support, if it's going to a charter school, or, like, mental health wise, them being supported in the community?
Exactly.
Like, how can you expect people to really get anything out of life if they don't start with a firm foundation and are given opportunities, like you said, that other people are getting? It's not like no one's getting these opportunities. People all over are getting opportunities, but
just not the low-income urban kids. They're not getting that, and it's unfair.
It's not.
Speaking of mental health, like, there were a lot of, like, oh, they don't do special education, which is so not true. We have a special education classroom in each grade, and they're actually doing really well. We have kids that are on IEPs who actually don't need them anymore. You know,
which
because
is the point to make a plan right to get them on.
So then they're hitting all their goals. They're reading. They're doing things, and it's like we had one kid who came in, and at his other school, he was, like, throwing desks and, like, you know, super, like, out of hand. And when he came to our school, because of the structure we gave him, he's fine. I personally have never seen him do that. I've never even seen him get
Isn't that amazing? You read someone on a paper, and you get in front of them, and you're like...
And, like, we don't let that paper define them. It's not, you know, everything that they say is not who you are. Like, we understand that you can hit your goals. It's possible, and, you know, and these kids are doing it. We have a nonverbal girl who came to school not saying anything. And and now she's like saying words, she's talking, and it's just, it makes me cry, but like it's a beautiful thing to see. And like, so for people to say such horrible things about our school, saying like, oh, we don't cater to special education, and like we don't care about that, and it's just like, it's so not true. Like, we do, and we work hard, and our special education teachers are well trained, and they're like, you know, they know what they're doing. And so I don't know, people just want to shut things down for whatever reason, because it's a low-income urban school.
Yeah, well, and I'm sorry, but society is set up to keep that in control. And the fact that you guys are kind of really just fostering and creating a way out is, I'm sure, very scary for certain individuals. And they're like, you know, we're losing control, but I mean, keep rocking. I think, you know, it's the same thing with your brand, like in business. I think people are going to come for you, and the more you put, they're like, oh, like, you know, that Kinks and Things, and I don't know why people like that. And it's like, but what I like about what you're saying is you all stay focused on what is the goal here, what do we want to do, and have an open door policy. If people want to come in and, you know, investigate, they'll see that.
It's not even an investigation. We're very open. Like, I'm not going to hide anything from you. This is what we do. This is how we do it. Like, we know we're good at it. If you know you're good at something, it's like LeBron James not telling people that nobody can come to his practice. Like, you're good at it. Like, everybody needs to see this. Everybody,
exactly. You shouldn't feel like so protected over.
Exactly. So we're so confident in what we do and how we do it, and we know it's an amazing thing. And so, hey.
So, I mean, you have that. You're about to get out of school. School is ending shortly, and you are also planning your wedding. So how do you keep everything together? I think that's valuable for people to...
I think the reason why I'm able to keep everything together is because of my support system. My fiance is super supportive. Shout out to Dave Dale.
Yeah,
he is so supportive, and he's actually really funny. He's like a groom that's super involved in the wedding.
My husband was like that too, girl. I was like, what? Like, because you expect, you're like, okay, you're like, you already have it planned out. We're gonna do this, that, and the third, and they're like, but you thought, like, this is not happening.
Yeah,
okay,
he's super involved in like anything I do as well. My family is super supportive in everything I do. So it's easy to balance, especially when you have a team. Like Kinks and Things is easy to balance because I have a team.
Yeah.
You know, my school, I handle my school myself, but being on that team and having so much support on my team, I'm able to, you know, do what I need to do for myself. We really prioritize like renewing yourself and, you know, prioritizing your health and your life before anything.
Wow.
Because they understand that, like, if you're not healthy and happy, you cannot function here. So, you know, they understand that. So I think having the support that I have in my life is, you know, is easier for me because I'm not stressed yet. I'm like, well, you know, I'm not stressed yet because I haven't really paid for anything yet, I think. We put the deposit down on our venue, but other than that, we haven't really, I'm like, money hasn't been flying out the door yet. I'm not
That's what you be like, all right, like, when you come back for another, you're like, okay, now. Okay.
But yeah, so, you know, I'm also not someone who stresses easily. I used to be, my friend Samantha used to always call me like a pessimist. And, you know, I used to be super like, oh my gosh, this needs to get done. I'm super worried. And sometimes I get in that mode, but then I remember like, you know what, everything's going to work itself out. Whatever, I'm a strong believer in like, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. And so I really rely on that and God and having my faith and all that stuff. It's super easy for me.
Yeah, support definitely helps in general to just be like, okay, what about this? But I like that you have kind of transitioned. It sounds like your frame of mind, like how you perceive what's going on around you. So, and my last question is, have you thought about like hairstyles for your wedding? Like what you want?
We have a surprise coming up in Kinks and Things. I'm actually going to ask the group to help me pick my hairstyle. So with my sister, she's a natural hairstylist, so we're going to come up with like maybe 5 or 6 different hairstyles, and then we're going to put a poll like, which one do you think is the most pretty? And so we're going to involve the group that way and really have, because you know, it's something that I created and like I really want to involve everybody. I can't invite you all to my wedding, I'm sorry.
We're talking about how much you know, pay for it,
But I think it would be a cute little, like, one hair series for other women who are getting married in the group, or, like, just want an elegant hairstyle to see, like, different things that you can do with your hair. And I think it would be a great way to, like, really bring everybody into my life a little bit and, like, hey, this is what I'm doing, so, like, what do you guys think? And whichever one that gets the most, you know, likes, I will do for my wedding.
I like that.
So,
that's an awesome
that's coming up.
Cool. So we'll look out for that. And just down the road, kind of as you're gearing up, the blog's going to release and everything. Maybe we'll check in later this year. We're halfway through the year now, so we'll see. Yeah,
there's a lot coming up. There's a blog. The YouTube channel is finally happening.
Yeah.
People have been begging me to do YouTube.
Yeah.
And I haven't done
stop playing.
I didn't do it because I felt like I didn't have anything new to offer.
Okay.
But then I was thinking about it, and I myself, like, I watch YouTube a lot, and I watch, like, 8 different videos of the same thing. Like, it may be, like, wash and go, summer wash and go, and I'll watch, like, 8 different people do the same thing. So I'm like, oh, maybe I do have something to offer. And not just, I have to, that mind frame I have to get out of like, oh, it's already been done, so I can't do it. Okay. And that's not necessarily true. You can do whatever, and you bring something different to the table. You know, people relate to me differently than someone else. And so that's coming out soon as well. Since I have all this free time in the summer, I'm just going to use it to work out Kinks and Things.
And launch.
Yeah.
Because I really have been wanting to, like, more natural hair events, like, here. Like, because in Connecticut, there'll be, like, I think it was, like, a fashion show with all natural hair care. I mean, all natural hair models. And, like, I would love to just, you know, I'm excited for all your creativity in the summer, and I'm just very excited and happy for you.
Thank you.
Of course. We have to wrap up, but thank you so much for coming on our show.
Anytime. Have me over later.
And that concludes another exciting episode of The Business of Soul Searching. If the content discussed in this podcast interests you, please contact me at thebusinessofsoulsearching@gmail.com. Also, make sure you subscribe. And most importantly, take a calculated risk this week. Don't do it for me, do it for you.